Thanks very much for joining us. Another episode of TalkinFight. I got Neil Adil with me. And before we get started on this episode, I just want to remind you, if you go to our TalkinFight.com website, we're giving away a pair of, not one pair, but two pair of training gloves here. They are right here. Everlast, brought to you by my favorite beer that I find around the world, Kilkenny. But today, just for fun, we got two more pairs of boxing gloves to give away as well. So we got a ton of stuff to give away on that TalkinFight.com site, and I hope you go and visit and register for those incredible gifts. So we want to get people involved in the sport, and if you're already fighting, you don't need those gloves. Let your kid brother, kid sister, register and try to win those gloves, because we're giving them away. Anyway, tonight we've got a great episode lined up for you. He's been a boxer, he's a trainer, a coach, and Neil Adil, give me the skinny. What do you got?
Hey, good evening, Graham. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Closer to Christmas, eh? You all set?
Super close. I am very set. I've got, like I said, I've got tons of stuff to give away. I'm like Santa Claus, and I'm looking forward to hearing about not only what you've got tonight, but all these episodes we've got coming up, because we've got a bunch of guys lined up. It's going to be a fun week, a fun month, and not to mention Santa Claus dropping by.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Graham, things are really moving along, guys. Thanks a lot, eh? It just keeps getting better and better every day. I want to thank everybody for the likes, the shares. Talk to your friends, talk to your relatives. Let them know that boxing is back, all right? Sure, MMA is big, but boxing is back. Check us out. We're definitely going to let you know what's going on in the past, the present, and the future. So, Graham, it's great that everything's going well. I'm glad, guys, get involved with the prizes. You know, we're trying to give them away. It's very easy. And hey, good luck to all of you. You know, they're great prizes. I'd love to win one myself, but whatever. You know, this just can't happen. So, you guys get the prizes. Check it out. And tonight we're going to do an episode, like Graham said, which is going to add to the trainers, coaches, and referees segments that I'll be doing in the near future. So I'm just trying to give kudos, right, Graham, back to the guys that actually behind everything. Like I mentioned before, I work in the film industry a little bit, you know, and sure, the actors get all the hey, you know, like that was a good movie. Yep. There's hundreds of people that make that happen. And it's the same in boxing. There's hundreds and hundreds of people behind everybody. So, guys, remember, these guys need to be acknowledged as well. And you should probably check them out and understand that, hey, if you're not the most athletic person, but you have knowledge, you can always become a trainer or a boxer or a referee. So if you enjoy the sport, there's lots of job opportunities for you. And with all the way the world is these days, everybody needs to start creating their own opportunities, because through chaos, as I always say, is created opportunity. So don't be shy. Right, Graham? You know what I mean?
Yep.
All righty. So we're going to do a little segment here on well, he's definitely in the top five. I got my top five guys. We're doing the top fivers again. It'll probably end up being the top teners, but top five trainer, coaches, and crazily enough, most of these guys, but boxers, you know, they originally started as boxers. So we're going to talk about Mr. Freddie Roach tonight, all right? Freddie Roach, all right? Hell of a guy, well respected, big time, because of his track record over the years. He's been in the fight game since he was pretty much a very young child. His father was his first coach, and funny enough, and trainer. First coach was his father, and funny enough, to this day, his father is still his coach. His father still coaches with him, which is an amazing thing. So obviously, his dad had a very big influence on his decision to become a fighter, then become a coach, then become a trainer. And it just goes on and on and on. So let's talk a little bit about Freddie's career. Unbelievable. He's still out there, guys. He's still, to this day, every day, doing exactly what he's been doing for the last 45 years. So thanks a lot, Freddie, man. Holy Moses. Like, without you, Fred, I don't know. You're at the peak of the mountain, man. You're always at the top of the mountain, this guy. You know what I mean, Grammy?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Anyways, we're gonna get into it here. All right. So he was born March 5th, 1960. So he's 60 years old. All right. He was born in East Dedham, Massachusetts. He's 5'8", and he started out in a pro career that he was very, very good in the beginning. Okay, Graham. He was basically unstoppable for pretty much his first 25, 28 fights, 26 fights or something. And then he ran into some bigger guys, and he got into the guys that are vying for the big titles. But he had a really great career. He had a total fights, 53 fights. All right. Not bad. 50 fights. Like we talked about, Graham. Anybody with 50 fights is a real fighter.
Yeah.
Wins, he had 40 wins. 40 out of 53 is pretty good, you know. He wasn't a big knockout guy. He only had 15 KOs, Graham, in those 40 wins. All right. So I'm sure he won a lot by unanimous decisions, split decisions. Maybe there was cuts involved. Who knows? I don't know exactly. But this and he did have a number of losses, Graham. He had 13 losses. All right. So he was in the mix for quite a while, and then he sort of was out of the mix. At the end of his career, I mean, that 13 losses is really not reflective of what he did, because as you see later in the episode, guys, we'll explain that. All right. That will be explained why he ended up with 13 losses, and you guys will all understand. So,
and if I can interrupt, you brought up before on other episodes how many boxers have, for lack of better description, been robbed. So you can
exactly, it's all the time.
So yeah, exactly. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it just occurred to me that you have spoken on this issue before. So it's interesting that this fella, well respected, moved on from trainer and coach, to referee. So anyway, keep going, please. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Graham. I don't think he's a referee, but anyways, you know what I mean. Guys comment.
Oh, sorry about that.
He's just a trainer. He's a coach, and he was a boxer. You know what I mean, Graham?
Okay. Sorry.
All right. So we're going to talk about his knockout percentage, because we're trying to break it down to the percentages, Graham. So
yes,
he had a very low knockout percentage. Really, it was 37.5% of his wins were knockouts. All right.
But did he go to distance? That's what we need to know.
Oh yeah. No, the guy was all heart. Like, I seen quite a number of his fights. I would say at least 15, maybe 20 of them. And he was always an underdog. All right. He was never the guy who was favored in any fight, but he gave everything he had, guys. Like, I'm talking, he took them and gave them. He's a really tough guy. Like deep down inside, this guy's got like a heart of gold. You know what I mean?
So he took it on the chin, lasted the rounds.
Yeah.
But unfortunately didn't get most of those decisions.
Right, because in the boxing world, Graham, guys need to move up the ladder too, right? But they need quality opponents, right?
Right.
So Freddie Roach was a quality opponent, but he wasn't at world caliber, say Floyd Mayweather style or Hector Macho Camacho style or that sort of thing. He didn't have the finish, you know what I mean? He didn't have the peanut butter, top shelf, but he had.
I have to wonder whether in that case then he didn't have the training or the.
No. It wasn't
team.
Training. It was his ability at the time, and he was actually, as we're going to talk about in a bit, Graham, you'll understand, he wasn't well. So they didn't know what was wrong with him. So what
Ah,
happened was he was actually not well. So
ah.
that affected his ability, I think, a little bit. Maybe I'm not speaking for you, Fred, but I'm just saying maybe there were times when you weren't feeling as good as you should have because of the onset of what was going on. So
Right. Okay.
I personally understand what's going on with you,
Okay.
like a little bit, right? I can understand it. I can't imagine what you went through, but I can understand there were times when it was really tough. No doubt about it. So, anyways, let's just move on. All right, Graham.
Yep.
Okay, so he was trained by his father. He had two brothers that were also fighters. So the father was training all three kids to become fighters. Um, the problem that Freddie had when he was younger was he loved to fight. Imagine, he loved to fight, this guy. So apparently he had over 300 street fights in his neighborhood there.
Wow.
He was known as the guy that you don't mess around with on the street of his neighborhood. So he had over 300 street fights, and I'm sure he won probably 299 and a half of those.
That's incredible.
I know. I just was like, oh my God. So he decided to turn pro. He figured he had, he's pretty good at the street fighting stuff. So let's see what we can do and, get in the ring, try something out. So he turned pro in 1978 as a lightweight. All right. And he rolled off 10 straight wins right off the hop. All right. So all of a sudden he's 10-0. They're thinking, wow, this guy's actually the real deal. No. I'm Neil, the real deal. Never mind your whatever, man. Come on now. Anyways, he
Hey,
basically
out of curiosity, wasn't Evander Holyfield the real deal?
no, he's called the raw deal or something. And he decided to change his name to the real deal. And then he stole my moniker. That guy's got nothing on me. I'm not even getting into that. That's going to be on another episode.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime. So, anyways, he rolled off those 10 straight wins, but he didn't really have any guidance. He had his father training him, and then all of a sudden his father saying, well, maybe we should get somebody in here that's like, a real pro guy, to help you out. I'm trying my best, but you need to flourish, get a little better. So he meets up with a guy named Eddie Futch, who is a trainer, coach of Hall of Fame. He's Hall of Fame, Graham.
Okay.
All right. And Eddie Futch took him from 10-0 to 26-1. All right. Right off the hop.
Wow.
So he was 26-1 with Eddie Futch as his trainer and coach. And so all of a sudden he was flourishing majorly. So
don't worry about it. Keep going.
Yeah, he eventually, the problem with him was he showed some signs in the boxing ring around the 26 mark where he won the 26 fights, and he started showing signs of what Eddie Futch thought was Parkinson's disease. All right.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened is Futch had a conversation with him apparently and said, listen, Freddie, you might want to consider retiring at this point because of this onset of Parkinson's disease that he's been dealing with, I guess, maybe for longer than he knew. Because when you're a fighter, I'm sure, you're going to be sore. Your muscles are going to hurt, this and that. I'm sure their hands vibrate after a fight. I mean, I didn't, right?
So does your brain.
Right. You've been punched a gazillion times. So your brain is being knocked around like jello, you know what I mean? So, and we all know
let's be honest. It's gotta have an impact.
It's gotta have an impact, guys. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden he gets diagnosed with this. His trainer says, listen, I think it's time we consider maybe not fighting as much, or he's just he's concerned about the guy. He loves the guy. And he loved him, right? So he says to Freddie, let's do this. Freddie says, no, I'm not doing that. He says, no, I'm just going to keep fighting. So he keeps fighting, and he basically ended up losing his last. Well, no, he lost 5 out of his last 6 fights. Okay,
Really?
right. So if you take that number 13 losses and you minus the 5 because he was really, really sick, but didn't want to give up, because Freddie Roach never gave up. You guys don't need to give up. Nobody gives up. Nobody likes a quitter. You know what I mean, Graham? Nobody likes a quitter.
Quitters never win and winners never quit.
That's exactly it. Good. Well said, Graham. Well said. So eventually he just ends up saying, all right, fine, I guess I should retire. I've just lost 5 out of 6. I don't got it no more, I guess, so let's move on. So he does a bunch of odd jobs. You know what I mean, Graham? He works as a busboy, starts selling cars, used cars and whatever. And then he realizes, well, this is, I can't make a living doing this. So he calls up his old trainer, Eddie Futch, and says, listen, why don't I come down to the gym and help you out? And maybe I can learn something, right? So there you go, guys. There's another thing right there. Just because you're not getting paid doesn't mean you shouldn't take the job. Because maybe you're going to learn something in life that'll be beneficiary later on in life. So that's what Freddie decided. So he actually worked for Eddie Futch for 5 years, unpaid. Okay, didn't make a cent, never paid a cent. All right, but he learned the craft from Eddie Futch on how to be a proper trainer and coach, and that was his mentor. That's the guy that did all the job. So he's basically from there on in. He opened up a gym in LA, a massive place of his, whatever it is, where all world champions go to train and deal with Freddie, right? And the it's called the Wild Card Boxing Club. It's in LA. All right. So everybody around the world, Graham, if you're a world champion, you're going there. He actually has trained, Graham, 27 world title champions in his career.
Wow.
So 27 guys that he has trained have won world titles. All right. I don't know if that's a record in itself. Maybe you guys can comment on that. Look that up.
Who's counting?
That is ridiculous. And right now, as we speak, here and now, guys, he's training seven world champions.
Wow. That's incredible.
It really is.